Guys, so today I wanted to make a video on different reasons for why somebody may spend an absorbent amount of money on an item that you may find doesn't even need to be bought at such price. Because why? Why would they spend $200 on a tie? Why would they spend $10,000, $15,000 on a watch when you could buy a simple $12 one and it can count time just as well? So why do people do this? And I've come up with my own idea through my spending strategies and why I think people do this. And obviously there are people who genuinely just have a lot of money and have no idea what to do with it. But there are reasons for why somebody who is well educated and not dumb, why they might do this. So I want to give two examples of two different people who work in the same exact job in the same industry and have the same exact financial situation. And here we go. So number one, the guy A has a new job, same job as guy B, but he has a new job and he needs to buy a tie for said job. And over the course of 5 years, he finds that he really likes this very specific tie from a very specific brand that costs $60 exactly, and he decides over these 5 years to buy 20 of them in order to get his collection. And that is more than enough for him in order to have a variety of ties to choose from and just enjoy them in general. So he buys these 20 ties, $60, $1,200 he spent on these ties. And let's say he gets into financial trouble and he needs $200 for the month in order to help cover his rent, and he has pretty much no money and all he can do right now is sell. But he knows that next month he'll get a job, so as long as he can get through this month, there should be no issues. So what does he do? He goes to sell those ties. He has 20 of them. He can easily buy them back or whatever he may need to do after he gets to that job. So he decides to sell them. Turns out the brand's not in really demand anyways, since it's not the most luxurious brand. Not to mention it is still a used tie from this brand, and the material wasn't that great that was used, and because of that, every time he wore it, there was tons of wear and tear on each tie, and it was very obvious that it was very used. So some guy comes along and says, "I'll buy all 20 of your ties for $100. That's the only offer he got that month. He needed that $200, so he says, "Yes, I will be more than happy to give that to you." Now he needs to go ahead and find an extra $100, so he has to then sell something else in order to make that $200 in order to pay for his rent. Then when he gets that job next month, now he needs to at least buy one more tie in order to, look presentable, and then he would need to start building back his collection in order to have variety again. So now he spent that $1,200, he only got $100 back, and then he had to sell another item or items in order to make that extra $100, and now he will need to once again rebuild some sort of collection. Maybe not the size he did previously, but he will need to spend some amount of money to do so. So let's go to guy B, and guy B decides to buy the highest quality tie, which I assume is an Hermes. I know there's a couple other that are more expensive, but he decides Hermes is more than enough. Hermes ties run about $200 each. It's $205 right now, but let's just round it to $200 so I can do the math a little easier, okay? So he buys these $200 ties. He decides 3 of them are more than enough. 3 ties is all he needs, so he spent $600 on 3 ties, which sounds ridiculous, and it does. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds like a lot. But that being said, he already spent $600 less than the other guy because he only needed 3 ties. He is very happy with these ties, as the brand name, the sheer quality, and the brand name as well makes him feel happier, and not to mention it keeps its quality because of the lack of wear and tear, because of the materials used, so it doesn't even look used no matter how much he uses it. So he goes and he gets himself into the same financial trouble that other guy got him in. Remember, the finances are the same exact trouble. He needs $200 that month, and then he'll get the job at the beginning of next month. So he just needs to cover this $200. What does he do? He goes to sell his tie. I find that high quality used Hermes ties can go for around 80 or 100. Let's just say he got lucky and his ties are still really nice quality and he was able to get 100 for each. That means he would need to sell 2 of his ties. He still has 1 tie left, and he doesn't have to right away build back a collection or buy any tie because he still has 1 tie for that new job, and he can decide how many more ties he needs and when to buy them because he at least has that 1 tie. So in total, he's only spent $600 and he still didn't need to sell his whole collection in order to make that month's rent. So these are 2 examples of 2 people, and I want to ask you, who do you think really lost? And it's a very honest question. Obviously, this is 2 made-up stories, and I'm using numbers outside of the price, just totals that I've made up. But I'm giving you an example of why somebody may spend a lot more on a specific item, and that's my opinion. Maybe he was an idiot and he decided that $200 on a tie because he had so much money was not a big deal, and there was no strategy involved. But I'm giving an option as to why somebody might do something like that, and this can go for any item such as watches, coats, whatever it may be. But I wanted to open your mind up to the possibility of why somebody may do that. So I hope you have a great day.